Hey, welcome to chapter 2. So this is the video that I'm going to start talking about that. Before that, I just want to let you guys know that I'm not in my garage. So I want to reward you a little bit for watching the videos. So this is my and my wife's office. And you can see that the ceiling is kind of weird because we are in the frog, right? And for you guys that are from the south, you know what the frog is. It's the finished room over the garage. So it wasn't from here, and it was kind of weird when someone told me that the house had a frog. But then I found out that's this room, which is a very good room for office, especially because I told you guys that I have two daughters, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they're making a lot of noise downstairs, and we're here upstairs, and have a lower probability of getting someone in and screaming and shouting and all that. Say lower probability, not unlikely, right? So maybe you're going to see that in one of my videos in the future. So now we're going to start process strategy. Okay, so what is a process strategy? We're going to talk more in depth of those decisions that companies make in their managing their process and managing their resources to achieve those competitive capabilities. So remember, we talk about competitive capabilities. You guys remember that? Was those things that companies decide, the goals that companies decide to be good at. So they're going to position their products saying they're going to be a lower cost, or they're going to be a high customization product, or they're going to be a high quality product, right? So these strategy decisions help them do that. And we're going to see some big groups of decisions. Okay, overall, kind of more like a very overview of those decisions. So we have the process structure here that we're going to talk about, the layout and the arrangement that for the facility that companies use. We're going to talk about customer involvement, is high or low, capital intensity. If you don't remember, we talked a little bit about that in a previous videos about how much of the cost is in labor versus how much is in equipment. So highly capital intense means that a lot of the cost of a product is actually on equipment, right? So big machines and big equipment. So, and resource flexibility. Okay, so have both equipment flexibility and labor flexibility. Okay, so we're going to see those in action. So, what is resource flexibility, right? So, when I talk about resource flexibility, what do you guys understand of resource flexibility? Okay, so as the words say, flexible, right? Okay, Professor Morodi, we know what you're talking about. So we have two types of resource flexibility, right? First is the workforce. So the workforce can be highly flexible or very low flexible. Okay, so highly flexible means that people can do multiple jobs. So they're training to do different jobs in the same, let's say, place, facility, location, right? So let's think about, for example, in a restaurant, right, a fast food chain, right? We talk about McDonald's or Wendy's or any one of those. What do you think? Do you think people are specialized? Like, okay, this employee are only trained to be cashier, and this one is only trained to make fries. This is only going to flip burgers. This is only going to clean the floor. Or you train them to do multiple things. If you think about it, it doesn't seem to be very difficult to train for these tasks, right? And one thing that happened a lot in the fast food industry is that the salaries are very low. So uh, the turnover is very high. People just don't show up or just give up their job, go to something, do something else. So there's a lot of that people don't come to work. So you have to have a workforce that you can easily flip things around and move people from one place to another. Another thing is that what is the demand like from a restaurant or like McDonald's and those fast food restaurants? Think about that. So it's pretty radical, right? Sometimes of the day, lunchtime, dinner time, or breakfast time, it has a peak, but no one has, no one. I wouldn't say no one, but very little people have lunch at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Right? So there are some peaks and valleys there, And what you have to do, you don't want your employees to just sit and wait. You have to actually put them to do something, right? So it's a lot easier to move them around if they're flexible, right? What will be a low flexibility workforce? When I have someone that is specialized to do one kind of a job, right? So, if you go to a bank, you have someone doing the cashier, you have some other people taking care of customers, you have some people being the manager. So it's more like a specialized location, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about those examples in class as well. You can also think about equipment flexibility, right? So highly flexible equipment are small ones, multi-purpose, that it can do very different products. Low flexibility ones are very strict and rigid, right? The ones that are specialized to do one and very simple tasks, right? To go back to the fast food industry, I can flip any burger, right, in the same equipment. I can heat any bread in the same equipment, but I have one equipment that only do fries, right? And you need a different equipment to do some fries there. You cannot put let's say a chicken nuggets in an equipment that does fries. So there's some flexibility, but there's some low flexibility as well, right? So equipment can be in those two different ways and kind of impact the same one as worker flexibility, right? So I already told you guys some examples of that. Okay, and again, we're going to talk more in class.